Okay, I saw my video pop up on Reddit, so let's look at the numbers. Holy shit!
So, I was not expecting that. I'm glad that my thoughts were heard, and my thoughts actually, got to a lot of people, because that's the kind of a point of a video. You want it to be seen by multiple people, by as many people as you can. I was just not expecting that out of this channel, and I'm grateful. Thank you for the views, thank you for the subs, and all that. So yes, I don't pay attention to this channel as much because I did want to make a D&D specific channel because I like D&D, and my other channels don't fit me talking about it. I got a video game channel and I got a music channel. So tabletop RPGs is, I wanted to make a separate channel for that. But I just put an opinion out there, and then it's just there. And then it gets, 20 views, and it's like, cool. Like, with hopes of it getting bigger, sure. But then I was scrolling Reddit one time. I made that video because I had thoughts, and I wanted to get those thoughts out. I'm scrolling Reddit. And then I see on the Fans of Critical Role subreddit, they posted, said, which one of you is this? And I saw my fucking face on that subreddit. I'm like, oh, hey, that's me. So I'm like, okay, well, somebody found it and then posted about it. So it's obviously getting some sort of traction, so let me check. 2,000 views when I checked. I'm like, okay, crazy. And then it just kept going and kept going. I'm like, okay, all right. Controversy sells. It hit the algorithm. Cool. Majority of the ratings are likes. It's still a controversial opinion, and controversy sells. Here's a little follow-up to that video. I still stand by everything I said in that video, and people in the comments have brought up even more points of here's some more things to support what you're saying. And that you're so right. And I'm making this follow-up video to kind of point out the toxic positivity of the Critical Role fandom, and just to capitalize on the subject, I guess. But also I want to make this disclaimer that I'm not saying that they shouldn't be friends with her. I'm not saying they should not like her as a person. I'm sure she seems like an actual nice person. I don't think what she does is malicious, but it is insanely fucking annoying, and it's really hard to watch. And it's a topic of conversation for a reason, because I don't believe she's a bad person. I truly there are a couple comments that are saying that this is like a Tiberius situation all over again. While character-wise, yes, it could be a main character syndrome on Tiberius. She's not like Orient. I've never retained how to pronounce his name. She's not like the player character. He was an actual toxic player, and he just was leading a bad life. She's toxic in her own way, but not in a gross manner, I guess, like he was. It was just more annoyance. If again, most of the comments agree with me. I agree with you, and I stand by everything I said in that video. I don't like her as a player, and I like her even less as a DM. And again, not saying that they should not be friends with her, just saying, and not saying that they don't have to, they should not like her. You like who you like, and you're friends with who you're friends with. But it's still a show, and people will have their criticism on the show, and their criticisms may lie in the people who are in the show. And she's not the only one being criticized. Everybody's gotten criticized in one way, shape, or form. Like Taliesin with Ashton and how he was played, and how I've mentioned all this before. People have not been free of criticisms. People have been criticizing people in the main CR cast, let alone special guests, which most people love the special guests anyway. But people have been criticized this whole time. but it's just that there's so much to criticize about Aabria, and it's going over a line for a lot of the Critical Role fandom. Seems like people who mostly watch Dimension 20 is less on this, and they like her just fine, but not on the Critical Role end. So, like, I mean, like what you like and whatever, but there's a reason why she's a part of the conversation, and just because a bunch of us don't like her as a player, like, they truly can do what they want, and they, see the numbers of, like, when the group splits up, if the numbers aren't, like, if her videos don't have a whole lot, like, but they still want to keep her on, like, that's up to their volition. That's their prerogative. I'm not telling them, it seemed like it. I was giving my own opinions on the matter, and I'm not telling them that how to run their show, but I think it would be a good tactic as a DM to at least bring up concerns at the table, as you should always do as a DM. This is a good DM tip. Bring up concerns. If there are people who are not liking a player, if the other player is not liking a specific person, and it's been brought up to attention, that should be a conversation. You should not, and then especially as a live play, if there's a big chunk of the audience that have valid criticisms, because I'm sure, there's like a 1% of the community that aren't cool with their opinions. But with valid criticisms, it should be something to look at. I get the initial reaction. I get this on my music channel a lot, where the initial reaction to criticism is like, well, fuck you. But you should take back, and even if you don't like how the criticisms was portrayed against you, like, and you take a lot of it with a grain of salt, like think about it and don't lash back, but you should be able to take it. And that's where my point is going to be for the rest of this video, is the toxic positivity of the Critical Role fandom when it comes to stuff like this. So fun fact, because I talked shit about Aabria on the main Critical Role subreddit, I have now been banned on the main Critical Role subreddit. The final straw was me saying "ew" to somebody's response. Literally 2 letters, "ew." Which I guess isn't the nicest thing to say, but to be banned for it, I feel like is a extreme reaction. But I don't blame the cast and crew of Critical Role. I guarantee you, they don't, like, nobody who actually works at Critical Role touches the subreddit. They could probably not, they could not care less about what the subreddit's doing. But the moderators who moderate that subreddit are the toxic fan base, and that subreddit just perpetuates the toxic positivity of the fan base. If you have nothing nice to say, you will get dragged for it. And that's why the fans of Critical Role subreddit got made, because the main Critical Role subreddit, you couldn't criticize anything that they did. You can't criticize anything they do, or you will get banned, or your comments will get deleted. And I feel like that's a bad way to run a community. And that's why, I believe that's why my video resonated with so many people. The 47% of people who didn't like it, I can't fucking do math. The 37% of people who didn't like it, I feel like some of it could be like people who like criticisms that they just don't like my opinion, and that's fine. I get it. You dislike a video that has an opinion that's against yours, but you're fine with people having opinions, sure. But I feel like a good chunk of that is the toxic positivity of the Critical Role fandom. And again, that's not a good way to run a fandom. It's not a good way to run a community. And that happened with Rooster Teeth, and with at least Critical Role doesn't really talk about that kind of stuff and say go fuck yourself on camera, outside of the one time Aabria did it, which is why people don't like her. They don't do it on camera like Rooster Teeth did, which is like I commend them for staying out of drama. Like they do what they do, and they do it silently, and they make the content that they want, and then they go on with their day. Like, I respect the shit out of that. Like, don't feed into the drama. Don't make videos about the drama. Like, I get it. Like, that, perfectly fine. Like, that's a smart way of doing things. If there's drama, you just do what you can to fix it. Don't make it a point, and move on. Too many content creators on YouTube need to learn that lesson, but instead they burn their accounts because of it. Now, as somebody who just rants about things, I'm obviously going to talk about things. So, like, you know, it depends on what your content is. But if you're making a specific type of video, or you're making a specific type of content, stay out of the drama. Like, so, I get that on the crew side, but then the community side, again, toxic positivity. You can't criticize anything the Critical Role does, and that is a bad way to do things. There was even a comment on this video that talked about saying something about negative about Aabria in the Campaign 4 talk on the Beacon's Discord, and they got roasted for it because you can't talk bad about anything that Critical Role's doing. And again, that only pushes people out. Now, if they are saying some belligerent or some very rude things, and especially if it is racist, sexist, or whatever, like if they're being actually shitty, like, sure, like, drag them in the mud. But if it's just like, hey, I don't like that they did this. Like, oh, well, it's their fucking table, and she could do what they want, and obviously they were okay with it because they didn't make a scene out of it. Like, oh, dude, bro, calm down. Like, get off of me. Like, I just stated an opinion. But that's what the community is, and it's really hard to communicate, and it's really hard to be a part of a community that will really just be an echo chamber of positivity, and things don't change if that happens. Unless if it's like unanimous, like, hey, we all didn't like this, then you're gonna get pushed out. I even had that, like, people are so like sensitive, and obviously I don't want to get into politics, but that people do talk about politics when they are conversing in these communities, right? And obviously, I hate the party system, right? Two-party system sucks. Dumb. Fucking hate it. And that only divides people, right? But obviously, Critical Role and their fandom is left-leaning. Now you will get people who are radicals of said left-leaning, and that will also cause issues. Radicals on either side causes issues. Again, don't want to get political, but this is what happens. So, if anybody, there are people out there who think that if they think that you are on the other side of the political spectrum in this community, they will be like, why the fuck are you watching? Like, obviously you're conservative, so why are you watching this? Like, how does this appease to you? And that kind of mentality is creating more divide. Like, if you want true inclusion that includes everybody, if people don't like what you say or what you do, then they could leave, sure. Or like if they truly don't like the content and what's getting produced, then why are you here? But if they like everything that is happening, and they like the content, and they also just happen to be even slightly on the other side, like, you should not push them out. Like, everybody should be able to share their opinions, and I really think the best political stance is to be a moderate. You know, you could see the goods and bads of both sides. Choosing sides is a bad thing to do, and Critical Role's community is the epitome of that. It's if you're politically on the other side, you are not welcomed in this community. I've been in the community, somebody thinks that I'm right-leaning because of me thinking a certain word isn't as bad of a word as they think it is. So they automatically point me on to the right side. But my beliefs, I don't think about politics. Like, I don't think about what side these issues are. It's, do I agree with this or do I agree with this? I've been called both sides. Depending on the conversation, I've been called a conservative. I've been called a liberal. It's because my opinions aren't based on what fucking side I'm on, and I think the Critical Role community doesn't know that. I don't think they understand that they should not be pushing people away just based off of some political opinions being different. Now, again, back to the whole, like, are you actually being a piece of shit person? Like, that's different than just having an opinion that seems to be on the other side. Again, I try to veer away from politics, but people make this about politics, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I just want to talk about tabletop gaming. I just want to play fantasy and have fun and be get into my emotions about scenes and just have good storytelling and fun combat and I have opinions about people doing that badly. I don't know why we have to bring everything to extreme, but that's a part of the toxicity of fandoms, and I think the Critical Role fandom needs to be careful with that because it's not good for the community to turn into an echo chamber. Again, push people out who actually suck, who legitimately suck. But let opinions fly. Let people have thoughts. Don't push people away just because they don't think the exact same way as you do. Which is weird, because also I'm also on the other end of the spectrum with that, because I think the community shits on Campaign 3 too much, and I like Campaign 3. But again, my thoughts aren't the majority, apparently. So I also still get downvoted for thinking Campaign 3 didn't have as many issues as people thought they did. I'm actually a Campaign 3 defender. So, yeah, people hate me for not liking Aabria, but also people hate me for liking Campaign 3. I can't win, you know? But whenever you have strong opinions, people are going to hate it, right? I'm not going to stay safe. I'm not going to censor my thoughts just because I'm going to get some hateful with it. And again, I think that's why my video resonated with so many people. There's so many people on this video who were like, "Oh, thank you for saying this." Or I thought I was alone, but now I know I'm not, and stuff like that. Now there were some comments that were out of pocket that still agree with me, but that's gonna happen. But I don't think we as people should be afraid to give our opinions out, right? I'm glad that I was able to be a voice for people who has opinions. I don't want this channel to only be criticisms of Critical Role. Critical Role is the only, truly the only live play I really watch. I've seen some episodes of other stuff out there, like XP to Level 3 I've done a little bit of. I've done a little bit of Dimension 20. But I truly only have time to enjoy one because I have other content to watch. Live plays take a while. It's 4 hours of content, and I have anime I want to watch, I have video games I want to play, I have other YouTube videos I want to watch. So if I'm going to choose one, my favorite is Critical Role. So if I have opinions on stuff with videos like this, it's going to be Critical Role based when it comes to content watching. Now, when it comes to, D&D horror stories and tips on D&D or my opinions on D&D stuff as a game as a whole, one, it's going to be D&D focused because that's what my groups play. We play D&D, so my content is going to be D&D. So I made one video about Daggerheart, but we don't play Dagger Hearts. I'm not gonna have a whole lot of opinions on that. I don't play Call of Cthulhu. I don't play all these other systems, Pathfinder, whatever. Unless if something comes up and I want to talk about, that's where the talks are going to be. But I don't want this channel to be only about criticisms of Critical Role and da-da-da. But if something comes up, really, if I have an opinion, I'm just gonna give it out. That's the whole point of this. Is I have thoughts. I want to put it out on the internet, and I want people to hear my thoughts. That's the thing. That's the thing. So yeah, that's that. I recorded much longer than I was expecting because I just kept on talking because that's what I do. Because yeah, the last video I did talk 20 minutes about one player, which is another criticism I kept on seeing, mostly on the Reddit part. But yeah. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, subscribe. If you want to see even more, check out the links down below. If you really want to continue seeing me, what I spend most of my time on is Twitch, twitch.tv/playpod. You'll see me mostly there. I believe the link for that is down below. If not, it'll send you to the Playpod YouTube, which will then lead you to the Playpod Twitch as well. So if you want to see me live and all that, is video game based, not D&D based, but TTRPG nerds and video game nerds is a Venn diagram that is almost a circle. So yeah, there's that. And until next time, bye.